Our next speaker is Erick Resnick. He is an active member of the Cleveland chapter of Jewish Voices for Peace and the Palestinian Solidarity Group. In addition to his pro-Palestinian activism, Resnick co-hosts the LGBTQ public affairs radio show Gay Waves on WRUW. He continues to work as a human rights activist and anti-Zionist every opportunity he gets.
Thank you. It is a privilege and an honor to be here. And unlike a couple of the previous speakers, Don actually did give me an assignment. I'm going to try to cover it. And as a member of Jewish Voice for Peace and as an anti-Zionist American Jew, it's important to be here. It's important for me to be here. It's important for you all to know that we are here. And it's important for everybody outside of this room to know that we're here. I am personally getting disgusted with being used as a human shield.
Correct.
Now, what do I mean by that? The Zionists, and Zionism is a disease. The more you know about it, the worse it is. The Zionists are using people like me and other anti-Zionist Jews. They're using our good names, they're using our good reputations, and they are putting that up in front of the world to try to shield themselves from the bigotry, the racism, the genocide. And I'm tired of it. And it's taken me a while to figure out that that's what they were doing, but it is what they were doing. And when you hear a Zionist make an accusation, stop and think a minute, it's probably a confession. I brought something with me yesterday, because I live in Canton, so the Canton Jewish Federation sent out a mass email. Federation, for those of you who may not realize it, Federation is not just a service organization of Jews. It's Israel lobby first, and that it's that way in all communities. And I would imagine that Cleveland sent this out too. This came from the Ohio Jewish Communities, which is the Israel lobby operation in Ohio. It says, please tell Congress, support Israel now. Say no to ceasefire. Now, you think about that a second. It gets worse. Urge your members of Congress to continue to support Israel by opposing a ceasefire. Let me go on. Congress is getting pressure from Hamas supporters to push for a ceasefire. We know a ceasefire only benefits Hamas, allowing them to rearm and recover. Gets worse. We all know from talking with our delegation that they are hearing much more from the anti-Israel activists than the pro-Israel community. We have the ability to change that. Democrats and Republicans, including President Biden, former President Bill Clinton, Secretary of State Antony Blinken, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, Leader Mitch McConnell, Speaker Mike Johnson, Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi, former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley, all agree a ceasefire only benefits Hamas. Instead of a ceasefire, either let Israel defend itself or demand Hamas unconditionally surrender and release all hostages. And then it tells you where you can go to take action now. And this is signed from Howie Beigelman, the President and CEO of Ohio Jewish Communities. This is sickening. But I'm going to do the other thing that Don asked me to do, and that was tell you the positive stuff. Because they're resorting to this because what we're doing is working for the first time. You know, they had the Zionist Fest on the mall in Washington, D.C. on Monday. And they paid $250 to college students to go down there to take part in it. You heard just a couple of highlights from that. You heard Obama administration official and CNN commentator Van Jones booed for calling for a ceasefire when he said he's a man of peace and he wanted to see the bombs, he wanted to see the rockets from Gaza stop and the bombs being dropped on Gaza stopped, and they booed him. Pastor John Hagee spoke. Pastor John Hagee is the leader of Christians United for Israel, the Christian Zionists. And John Hagee is so out of it that John McCain in 2008 refused his endorsement because he praised Hitler and said that Hitler did the Jews a favor by bringing them back to Israel. That's who is speaking for the Zionists who want the world to see them as the great people, and they are not. Zionism has always been about settler colonialism. It has always been about racism. So one more thing before I'm going to stop, because you did ask me to do this. So here's something that we can do in addition to what we're already doing. At the march that a lot of you were at on the 4th, the CAIR president stood up and said to President Biden, no ceasefire, no votes. Here in Ohio, we have a senator by the name of Sherrod Brown, who is gonna, if he wins, it's gonna be by a slim margin. And he needs every one of the votes from the people in this room. And he's supporting this genocide. And he's not calling for a ceasefire. And we can call for the same message from Sherrod Brown. No ceasefire, no votes. You fund genocide, no votes. That will have a profound effect. So I'm going to stop there, because the hard part is what we've already done. You know, as a gay man, in fighting these civil rights battles for most of my adult life, I can tell you that movement didn't start to turn until people came out of the closets and got visible. And I see the same thing happening right here, right now, not just in Cleveland, but around the country, and I'm loving it. So, where's the stick?
Right here.
Oh, okay. So, anyway, long live Palestine, long live Gaza, and long live Gaza's courage.
Thank you, Eric. I think we can all take away a little bit of something from your piece.